it's a city that people from all over the world visit, and they go to visit the scholar and the saint and the poet Jalaluddin Rumi, who's actually Jalaluddin al-Balkhi. He's originally from Afghanistan. His father was from the Taim people, Bani Taim, which is one of the clans of Quraysh. So on his father's side, he's a Bakri, a Taimi from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And then on his mother's side, his grandfather was a scholar, from a ruling family in Central Asia. So, we were at the maqam yesterday, and whenever they would teach the Mathnawi, they always began with a verse from the Mathnawi in the first lesson, which is, never think that the paths to God are difficult to pass. Never think that the paths to God are difficult to pass. To work with holiness is never difficult. And that's reiterated by Ibn Ata'illah, who says that if you think that Allah can't change you in one moment, then you know nothing about the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mulana was a very notable scholar. He was not an insignificant scholar. He was actually known for his mastery of the sciences of Islam. And he was a exoteric scholar for a good part of the first part of his life. His father was a very well-known alim in Central Asia, and he was born in 1604, which is around 1207 by the Christian era. But his father got in a lot of trouble because he wouldn't be silent about a lot of the abuses and innovations of the rulers of Balkh in that area. And so he would go around preaching, and he actually had a lot of influence. He was very influential as a preacher and a scholar. And so he was basically persecuted.
Is burning with love. All can see this flame. My heart is pulsing with passion, like waves on an ocean. My friends have become strangers, and I'm surrounded by enemies. But I'm free as the wind, no longer hurt by those who reproach me. I'm at home, wherever I am, and in the room of lovers, I can see with closed eyes the beauty that dances. Behind the veils, intoxicated with love, I too dance the rhythm of this moving world. I have lost my senses in my world of lovers.
Hallucination, I saw my beloved's flower garden. In my vertigo, in my dizziness, in my drunken haze, whirling and dancing like a spinning wheel. I saw myself as the the source of existence. I was there in the beginning, and I was the spirit of love. Now I am sober. There is only the hangover and the memory of love, and only the sorrow. I yearn for happiness. I ask for help. I want mercy. And my love says, look at me and hear me, because I am here just for that. I am your moon, and your moonlight too. I am your flower garden, and your water too. I have come all this way, eager for you, without shoes or shawl. I want you to laugh, to kill all your worries, to love you, to nourish you. Oh, sweet bitterness, I will soothe you and heal you. I will bring you roses. I too have been covered with thorns.
Because of your love, I have lost my sobriety. I am intoxicated by the madness of love. In this fog, I have become a stranger to myself. I'm so drunk, I've lost the way to my house. In the garden, I see only your face. From trees and blossoms, I inhale only your fragrance. Drunk with the ecstasy of love, I can no longer tell the difference between drunkard and drink, between lover and beloved.
Retaliate. They would just have to accept everything that was done to them, and they had a very rigorous discipline. I think people forget how serious this early community was about their religion, and we tend to, as modern people, it's very difficult for us to imagine the intensity of practice and the intensity of dedication and devotion that these early peoples had in their religion. One of the Andalusian poets, he said, "Lana uswaratun fi bishri Hindin wa ukhtiha wa Qais wa Laylatun min Mayyin wa Ghailani." We have a good example in Bishru Hindin and in his sister, and Qais and Layla and Majnun, and in Mayyin Ghailan. These are famous love stories of the early Arabs, and what he was saying is that the reason God puts the Romeo and Juliets in the world is as a proof against anyone that claims to love God, that the intensity of erotic love, the intensity of love between two human beings can be so great that people actually go mad and they'll do anything for the beloved. And so those people are there in the world as a proof, according to that poet, against people who claim to love God. You say you love Allah. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي. Say, if you love Allah, if you have a claim for something, الْبَيِّنَةُ عَلَى الْمُدَّعِي. You know, the proof is on the one making the claim. So if you claim to love Allah, the proof is in following the Prophet ﷺ, and that's the proof. So that's the proof of your love. And the Sahaba had complete tamahi. They were completely annihilated in the love of the Prophet ﷺ to such a degree that Bilal radiallahu anhu, after many years of being in Syria, came back to visit Medina, and some of the Madanese convinced him to give the adhan. It was very difficult for him, but he decided to. And when he gave the adhan, people heard the adhan for the first time from Bilal since the time of the Prophet, and they came out of their homes just weeping. They were just crying. That's how present the Prophet ﷺ was in their lives. Imam Malik radiallahu anhu, they said if the Prophet's name was mentioned, his face used to change. The color in his face would change. They had ishq, real love. And so he went through that intense period, and what he talks about is love and mahabba, which is, I think you'll study with Sidi Hamza in the text on Ibn Ashir. He talks about وَيَتَحَلَّى بِمَقَامَةِ الْيَقِينِ, and the last one is mahabba, the stations that you adorn yourself with, because in traditionally in that path you have what's called takhliya, and then you have tahliya, and then you have tajliya. And the tahliya is the emptying out. It's what in the Christian tradition they called it kenosis, where you empty out the self. Because the self is full of itself. You talk about people, you say he's full of himself. That's exactly what it means. He's full of himself. One of the things about Darija, Amiya, a lot of people don't think what these terms mean, in Darija. But one of the things the Egyptians, they say, and they don't know what it means, but I'm convinced it's from their own spiritual tradition. If an Egyptian wants you to say, watch out, he says, خَلِّ بَالِكْ مِن نَفْسِكْ. Isn't that how they say watch out? خَلِّ بَالِكْ مِن نَفْسِكْ. But if you actually look at what it means in Arabic, it means empty your mind of your ego. خَلِّ بَالِكْ مِن نَفْسِكَ. Do the takhliya of yourself. That's how you watch out. Because the only thing that gets you in trouble is your nafs. That's the only thing. It's the only thing that gets you in trouble is your nafs. And so